I've been meant to everybody on the far side of planet Earth. I'm doing a test stream right now to ensure I can be a professional in the world of streaming. Okay, it took me a while to get this set up because I don't know how to do this, so I'm just doing the same setup that I did yesterday, which was using a mobile device. So we're gonna get right into some tea today. I'm the only one here thus far. I might have to, here, let me change the microphone. Alright, I'm gonna just do an audio test before we get started, because I do want to get into some tea spilling. So let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna mute the mic. Maybe I don't know how to mute it. Alright, well let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna mute the mic. Maybe I don't know how to mute it. Alright, well let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna okay. Cool. Closing that out. Okay, it looks like both of this. I don't know how to get this other stream fixed. Okay. Yeah, it took me a while because I wanted to get the thumbnail just right for y'all so you could see what the intentions are for today's stream. So I guess while I finish getting set up real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and play you some music. Let's see, I'll just play a song that I just recently came out with. This is gonna be all willy-nilly the way I play it. It's just, I'm gonna go ahead and wing it. So you're gonna be able to hear the audio directly from my iPad right now. This is the song Terror, T in parentheses, error, from the mini album Hollow Nights by me, YKD, Yanahakai Tsit. Okay, so that was a little preview of Terror, and we're gonna hop into, what's it called? Broken Heart. So I'll play a little bit of that while I finish getting set up. enough. So, if anybody here has seen the post that I made on my community tab a little bit ago, I did mention that this sort of genre that I'm working with right now, that I just showed you a little preview of, you could see it on my channel, the Hollow Knight's mini album. I still need to make a playlist for it. I've exceeded the amount of playlists YouTube allows, so I have to clear it out before I can finish that. But anyway, this genre of music that I make here, let me go ahead and resample it one more time for you. So like this sort of glitchy right there, like that. So this glitchy sound that I've been playing with is a result of me not having any sort of professional music training. I have learned a slight bit of music theory here and there from a couple years ago when I was doing a piano class, but I dropped out of school before I could finish that. So essentially, I'm a person that has no music training, like no professional training. And so when I go into GarageBand, I have a very keen sense of sound. So like sometimes things are too loud or too quiet for me, and I'm constantly adjusting the volume on things. So, you know, because of this keen ear that I have for very symmetrical music as well, like I'm very, very picky about music, and the music that I like, I will have it on repeat like 1,000 times. So, because of these qualities, I apply it, or using these qualities, I apply it to my music when I'm making music. So right now, everything that I produce is completely experimental. It's a result of me just trying to figure things out. So everything that you guys see are very rough versions of what it would be like if I actually committed myself to making music all the time. I digress. But I made a post on my community tab a little bit ago about this video that's floating around on the internet, this post that's floating around on the internet regarding this new, in quotes, new genre of music called 𝓏𝓏. Alright, so everybody that's listening, get your bowl, get your doobie, let's take a hit together. And I'm gonna spill this tea. So, oh yeah. Okay, so, the tea. This new genre, so to speak, called 𝓏𝓏. So there's this post going around on Twitter where this guy, he wrote on July 29th, 2024, on his Twitter, he wrote that he had a dream that he was at a rave and he was listening to this different kind of music that he's never heard before. And he said it had, I could probably find it. Go to my community tab and I'll just read it to you verbatim. That way I'm not acting a dang fool here at 10:30 in the morning. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's scroll down a few pages. Yeah, I'll eventually show my face and do the whole camera thing, but because I'm such a boomer newbie millennial, I don't know how to make this all nice and fancy yet. So that's why I'm just doing this stream on my tablet right now. And I got my microphone set up so it's at least better audio quality. I'm scrolling down here to find the post so that I can read it to you. I have been posting a lot recently and it's a little different. Okay, so there's this post on Twitter. You can look it up. It's from a user named 𝓨𝓷𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓲. That's 3 D's at the beginning. So 𝓨𝓷𝓪𝓲. He made a post saying, "Had a dream I was at a rave talking to a girl and she told me about a genre called 𝓏𝓏 that is in 5/4 time at 212 beats per minute, BPM, with super crunched out sounds. Thank you, Dream Girl. That was posted 10:11 a.m., July 29th, 2024. It's gotten 7.3 million views at the time of it being posted. And so this video showed up in my recommendations, and I I watched the video. I listened to it, and I saw what these people that are actually professionally trained with music, how they created essentially the sound that I have been working on for a while now. The sound that I've been making. So this is so synchronistically, he posted that July 29th, 2024. And we go back 1 year before then, July 28th, 2023. On my YouTube channel, I posted a song called Late Night Crunch. And I re-listened to it. I re-listened to this song. And I came to the conclusion that after I finished this song, or while I was making the song, this guy, all the way over in 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪 California, basically, there was some sort of wormhole thing where exactly 1 year later, from the time that I posted that song, this energy reached this guy. I'm just hypothesizing this. Because this is a totally new thing. This guy got this dream exactly 1 year later. And he uses a very specific term in his description. Crunch, right? And I made a song called Late Night Crunch. And I named it that because most of these songs, there's not really a reason behind the name. Like, a lot of them don't have a reason. Some of them do. And Late Night Crunch, it was just a random name. So here we are, 1 year later, and people are reproducing versions of what my music sounds like right now. So I am anticipating making my music even more, good, I guess. Because so far, I think it's fine. I think it's pretty good. It's not great yet. It will be great sooner or later. So that's the tea on Late Night Crunch being a sort of catalyst for this genre appearing to this guy in his dream called 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪. So now when I go to make my music, I kind of refer to my music as 𝓨𝓪 a little bit. Not really, but like, a little bit mentally. So we're gonna get into some tea here today. I just gotta figure out exactly what we're doing here. Because, this is the first time on the rodeo here. I have a few projects that I have in the works. I guess I could, give you an idea. So if you are a persistent viewer of my channel, you will see that I basically, I post a lot of different things. And I have on my play card at the very end of the video a link to some of my other channels, like the White-Eyed Monsters. And so I have a few different channels that I'm going to be working on that all address certain different things that need to be, let me change the audio. There we go. I have a few different things that I'm going to be addressing for the next year that I've been working on. But the trouble is that I have an invisible disability. And my God, you know how everybody's fear when they're children is quicksand? That's kind of like the life I've been living for like since I was a child, living with this invisible disability. But thankfully I am working on, healing it. I have the resources to do so. I have the information to do so. But, yeah, I digress. So, there's a few other channels that I'm going to be working on soon. The Aki Tribe Union, which is going to be dedicated to the indigenous life, indigenous culture, indigenous people, everything indigenous, basically. However, the Aki Tribe Union is more about uplifting, it's more about strategy, it's more about planning, it's more about um, education, information, collaboration, so on and so forth. And then the White-Eyed Monsters is already up and running. There's only one video on that channel. You're welcome to check it out. I am just doing a reaction and an extrapolation because I don't like to limit myself to the current genres in terms of the way that we're naming ourselves with the way we share information. So basically, I do an extrapolation on this article about what was it called? It's corruption, deceit, something about deceit. It's basically about how he was at a university studying to be a journalist. And he was basically abused for attempting to speak out on the corruption that was going on in the school. And he's not the only person. There were more than one person that was being abused and threatened and so on and so forth. And I haven't made an addition to that yet, and I will at some point continue on with reading the article. It's just kind of dense. So, yeah. That's one thing that's already going. We have the White-Eyed Monsters, Aki Tribe Union. There is another thing. Man, every time I have a cup by my bed, I get a little fluff in it. I want to drink this water. Okay. Yeah. So, another thing that I have planned, this is like a little surprise for whoever is gonna be listening to this later, because we have a viewer. Okay, cool. Another thing that I'm working on is the Kaminari zine. So, Kaminari means thunder in Japanese, and I had a lot of synchronicities about choosing that name for it, but Kaminari zine is going to be an internet music alt zine where I cover a lot of different indigenous artists that you may not know of, small artists, local artists, grunge artists. I mean, the main focus is gonna definitely be grunge and alternative and punk music, along with indigenous rappers, because there's a lot of indigenous rap. Okay, I got it. um, mhm. There we go. Hydrated. Took a moment. That's what I get for smoking at the beginning of this. So if you haven't smoked yet, go ahead and do it for me. um, yeah. Preparing for that. So the Aki Tribe Union, there's going to be a great focus on education and expansion of the teachings that already exist, because we do have some prophecies that tell of the children of the White-Eyed Monsters, which is why the White-Eyed Monsters is named what it is. The children of the White-Eyed Monsters, whom the White-Eyed Monsters were the Europeans that came over here with very fair eyes, who wanted basically all the precious, valuable materials that we have. And I digress. They basically they basically, the white-eyed monsters, they said in a prophecy a long time ago that if the white-eyed monsters, when they come over here on the backs of turtle shells, guided by the winds, when they come over here, if they do not make peace with us, that will be the end of our people. And they also foretell of several generations after the demise in 1492 of Turtle Island. They tell of several generations later where the children of the white-eyed monsters, who were the Europeans, the colonizing Europeans, will go on to create the Golden Era. And so a part of 𝓨𝓃 Tribe Union is going to be a part of that. A big part of what that is me taking on the responsibility of fulfilling the prophecies of my ancestors when it comes to continuing on with the teachings and ending the genocide in that way. So, 𝓨𝓃 Tribe Union, 𝓚𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪, white-eyed monsters, and then I have a 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪, which I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to be doing with that channel, but I know for certain I'm going to be reading books that are vital for us as a species, as the human population, such as, right now I'm reading Tribes, Treaties, and Tribulations on Abyss Bibliotheca. I'm not even in the first chapter, actually. I just did the introduction. Again, this is what happens when people end up living with invisible disabilities. It can slow them down a lot, so I have not been prioritizing these things as much as I need to. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing the live, so that I can verbally prepare by doing these test runs on my main channel and then going from there. So, yes. Okay. I do want to get into the tea, though, apart from giving all these little updates and explanations. How cute and fun, huh? So, for some waiting music, instead of using waiting music, I might, well, actually, here, let's see. What do I got in here? Because I might just play something I already have as my waiting music. Oh, okay. I'll give my friend a plug. So I have a friend that lives out in Las Vegas. He has a small band named 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪, and boy oh boy, his grunge, pop, punk, alt, whatever band is kind of taking over the scene out there in Vegas a little bit. Like, he's got the kids vibing and grooving to his music. So I'll go ahead and play a little bit of that real quick to give you a preview of 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪 if you haven't already checked out his lives. I have 2 lives here. I'll play the most recent one from May 23rd, 2000. 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪. Bluked Brandon the Bro. Okay, so I guess I don't know what that was. I guess it's because I played some music, it glitched it out, and it did not like that. So I'm back. But I took a little break. So let's just get into some tea. I'm gonna be looking at random stuff on the internet that could be pertinent to the human psyche and its development. So what I have on my feed here is on Instagram, from Useless Cops on Instagram, a video of wow. Looking like a child. Okay, so this is a video with the title, "Officer Damages Private Property While Executing a Search Warrant." Now, since I don't know how to get the screen record thing going, I'm just gonna show you it like this. So if you look at that, what is this? This is the officer damaging private property while executing a search warrant. So he walks in, dings the car, and then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna super ding the car. This is what happens when we let order followers run the world. Cause you know, realistically, let's be real here. Who is the one doing the killing when it comes to bombs being dropped out in Gaza? Who is the one doing the killing when the president makes new bills and laws and whatever, and all these other political people when they make all their orders? Who does the killing when the judge says this innocent person must go to jail for the rest of their life? Who is doing the killing? Who is doing the cuffing? The answer is obvious. The number one group of people that we hate as a collective when it comes to political people are order followers, the police. Because they're the ones that make the decisions to follow the orders. So realistically, we can get upset at Trump, Harris, any other political head. But if they're not the ones pulling the trigger, they're getting away with it. Realistically, in a moral sense, they're not as guilty. So this right here is just one example of police being complete dirtbags. So it's pretty crazy what's going on in Gaza, because we have the same thing going on over here in the United States when it comes to Mexico. So I'm going to show you a little video right here. And this is right here. Okay. So let's start from the beginning.
The Mexico-US border wall, and I didn't expect to see this. I've seen this wall many times on the news, with stories about security and necessity, but being personally here is a completely different experience. And frankly, it was disturbing. The wall is massive, endless, and very imposing. But what really surprised me was to see all of this. Look at that. There it is. Look at this. What else? This left me speechless, and it reminded me of the very first wall I've ever seen.
Bethlehem, the home of Jesus. Make hummus, not walls, yeah.
At the Mexico-US border wall. And
so that's just a little taste of what I get on my Instagram feed. That's from, let's see. This is a video from let's see. I'm trying to see who's in the video. Let's see, 2 people. Okay. So that is from a person. I'm going to follow them right now. Maybe. Oh, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Okay. But that is from a person who is Arabic. Their username is 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪. That is at �ZEIDANER. He's the dude we just watched who visited the Mexican Wall and then the Bethlehem Wall out in the West Bank. So that was on Instagram. Alright, so what else we got here? I have a lot of things here that we can go over. So the big reason why I'm doing this, these samples of these live streams right now is especially because of the level of genocide that we're at here now in Gaza and worldwide, really, because there's several genocides that are going on right now, the Congo, Sudan, so on and so forth. So in Turtle Island even, there's still stuff going on here. So this thing keeps crashing here and there because I'm using my tablet. I don't know if it's because of using the tablet or what, but I'm gonna keep going on with this just to, you know, get the exercise going. But as I was saying on right now is that there's several genocides going on right now. It's getting very critical in terms of where we are right now with Gaza, because Gaza is looking exactly like the Armenian genocide. It's looking exactly like Auschwitz in the cusping final days. So, yeah. Right now, more than ever, we need to be doing whatever we can to help end this genocide. And the thing is that it's not just Gaza, right? As I'd mentioned, Sudan and the Congo. These things are all interconnected. It all goes back to this global cult who are the master mind control manipulators. So what is really going on right now is that this genocide is a result of this entire planet allowing ourselves to be colonized for generations and generations and generations, to the point where it's finally catching up with us as a collective, and we are now all in metaphorical and by agreement, we are all wearing shackles. We can't necessarily see them on our body, but we can see them when we look in our wallet, when we look at our state issued, government issued identification cards. Yes, these are the shackles because these are the agreements we are making. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put all of the people that consider themselves to be Christian, God-loving, Jesus-loving, the people that say you must accept Christ as your savior, etc., so on and so forth. Those that are essentially in the pseudo-Christianity, Jesus, Bible-thumping cult. Unfortunately, I have to remind you that Jesus was a Palestinian person. If we're talking about somebody that lived in Bethlehem their whole life, that lived out there in the Holy Land, and Jesus' tomb is somewhere out there, then boy oh boy, we need to start being more considerate of what we're really saying when we're telling people that they have to accept Jesus Christ as their savior, because I don't think these people that are preaching such things would actually accept Jesus Christ as their savior. I'll be honest, because if they are in that mindset, if they truly do live in Christ as they so beg others to do, then they would be doing whatever they can to stand up against the Zionist state of Israel. They would be doing whatever they can to speak up for the Palestinian people, because I guarantee you right now, if Jesus had been born over there this past year, he would have been bombed. He would have been bombed to death. He would have been arrested by a IDF police officer, a Israeli police officer, because they do arrest toddlers. He would have been shot in the head by an IDF soldier. He would have been run over by a tank by an IDF soldier. He would have even been shot by a US soldier. I mean, the extent that the US is going to protect Israel is quite not surprising. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Jesus would either, even if he were an adult, if he were an adult man, like he was when he was crucified, Jesus today would be hauled off blindfolded with all the other people, the other men and males in the north, and he would have been taken onto a truck, as they are and have been doing the last few days, rounding up the very last remaining survivors out of all the thousands and thousands and thousands that they starved, that they murdered, and restricted access to medical aid. All of these people, after all these people have died, so yeah. And the real thing here is that another thing is that these people would be against all this, basically, because they would see that clear as day if Jesus were either a baby or an adult or even an elderly man, his blood would be lusted after by the IDF greatly. So, I may have to do a little bit more activism on addressing all the people that consider themselves to be Christian, God-loving, Jesus Christ-loving, because if they're really committed to that, I'd like to see them actually work to protect Jesus if he were alive today. Because that's the whole point, right, of living in Christ, is, not living in the past, but living in the present. So we're going to take another hit on that, because this is getting a little bit, the tea's getting a little salty, a little bit bitter. So I think I'm going to keep this going for like another hour. And we're just going to get into a little bit more tea. And this is all just an exercise to, get the vibes going. I may keep this live up, so that my friend GovCorp Watch can get a chance to tune into it. Yeah, so let's move on to the next couple of topics here. Oh, let me tell you the day. So today, it is Thursday, on the native, the 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪 days of the week. So how we say Thursday is 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓷𝓪. I'm still working on my accent, but that's Thursday. 𝓨𝓪𝓷𝓪𝓱𝓪. There we go. Yeah, so the next time I do this live, I'm gonna have to do it on my phone again, because I didn't have this many problems with the live crashing repeatedly. Although, I'm using my microphone on this, so the quality is a lot better. But unfortunately, man, I might have to just use my earbuds and be like a simpleton normie and do it like that. Okay. So, unfortunately, the tea is very morbid today. We're gonna look into it. People are being burnt to a crisp as if they're being grilled. Out in, Al-Maghazi, camp. I'm not entirely sure where this is, but given that it's about 6:34 out in Gaza, I would say that this video that I'm looking at is from earlier in the day when I was going to sleep, when we were all going to sleep out here in Turtle Island. This is when this was being recorded. So what is on my screen here is an image of, like I said, people burnt to a crisp as if they're being grilled for consumption, that are being pulled out of the debris from a bombing. So I see firefighters here, Palestinian firefighters, basically trying to retrieve this severely crisped corpse of a human being that clearly is likely not alive at all whatsoever. And these images, unfortunately, are getting to be very, very, very commonplace. This is an unusually normal, commonplace thing. And the trouble with this is that right now these images are becoming so normalized that they are becoming, I would say, just as normal as they're becoming just as normal as the images of animals being slaughtered and the consistent circulation of that, and how unfortunately many carnists look at those images and say, I would like some bacon, in a sort of mockery of their own intelligence, consciousness, and empathy. The same is being applied here to what is going on in Gaza. We are getting so overly conditioned to these images. So, and I'm not sure if this is the cult's grand intention to desensitize us per se. However, I would like to give my my hypothesis, however, about what I think that Israel is actually aiming for right now. So here's the thing. The global cult is ultimately behind this genocide and basically every other genocide on this planet. Like virtually every single genocide is because of this global cult that has been around for thousands of years, since the beginning of civilization practically. And they say a lot of this has to do with an intergalactic influence, being from like the Sumerian rulers, Enki, Enlil, so on and so forth. I do think that there's a lot of credibility to those statements about the origins of this global corruption. So, going from there, where we are now on this planet, we're at a point where the global cult is doing what they can to master the art of breeding their cult on an international level. So they have already convinced the collective that carnism is normal and that it is something we should be doing outside of a survival setting. Whereas carnism is something that was adopted over time after the Great Deluge, because we at one point were given the resources to eat a full plant-based diet. However, that, I assume, has changed. This is my assumption based off of my knowledge of history that's written in scripture and otherwise. That we moved away from a plant-based diet that we were given, by God. They say, you have, in Genesis, they talk about you have all the seeds of the earth to, eat plants, basically, is what it says. We adopted eating animals as a source of survival. However, we're at a point now where we're so far developed in terms of an agricultural society that on a very basic fundamental level, like not actually incorporating permaculture and naturalizing what is it called? It's something like that, renaturalizing, I don't know, the environment, basically so that we have an overabundance of plant food. Apart from us getting to that point, because we're not there yet, like we need to be, with what we have right now, with the sort of agriculture we have for food, we have enough food to for everybody to be living on a very healthy plant-based diet. It's just a matter of actually acquiring those resources. And unfortunately, we have this mindset right now with the collective where we are in a consistent fear we're in a consistent state of fear. We are stuck in the R complex of the brain. So when we are stuck in this part of the brain, it's very hard for us to go above and beyond that and to emotionally process things and to cognitively consciously process those things so that we can actually make decisions not based off of primal needs of, protection, safety, so on and so forth, and emotional needs of feeling good so that we can feel safe. So because we are not beyond that and in the conscious state of mind as we need to be consistently, because of living in such a high stress environment on this planet, it's very hard for the collective to see outside of the information that we're being given when it comes to carnism. It is normal in everybody's mind. People think that they can't live without eating animals. Sure, some people may have more of a dependency than others when it comes to nutrients, and that can easily be addressed with alternatives because we have an overabundance of nutrients in our plant food. An overabundance of it. Even with the depletion of soil, nutrients, minerals, and bacteria that we have right now, we still have a lot at our fingertips. So, going from there, right? We can see, as I've mentioned, how we've gotten to this point where since carnism has already been accepted on a global level, going back to what I was saying about my hypothesis about the plan of Israel, ultimately, they've been talking about the greater Israel. So what's really going on here is that the global cult has mastered the art of producing producing an entire country of yes men. They have effectively produced one of the most racist and genocidal, ignorant states on this planet, and that is Israel. That is backed by several different nations all around the world, several different groups of people all around the world. So they have been abusing genocide trauma in the people that survived the Holocaust and the descendants of that. To say that all of this that is going on, all this baby bombing, because that's, if you want to sum it up, those are the two words to sum it up: baby bombing. All this baby bombing that they're doing out in Gaza, all this murdering that they're doing in the West Bank, and the other Palestinian reservations in Palestine. With all this support, it is clear as day that they have mastered the formula of a genocidal cult. So, my hypothesis is that it's very clear as day with the Greater Israel plan, that they're going to be expanding, or at least try to expand their cult as much as they can. So Israel's no longer going to be Palestine. It's going to be more than that. That's why they're bombing Lebanon. They're going to be going everywhere that they can to create Israel, a bigger Israel. Because they've already created a global cult for Israel. They've already mastered that with the birthright, with the woe is me, woe is me. So Yeah, essentially, they're going to do whatever they can to continue on and to divide the population so that we become, sooner or later, as we are now, either pro Palestinian, aka we are terrorists if we back the indigenous people of this earth, especially Palestine, or we are normal people, and that is Israelis, pro Israelis, pro government, pro cult. So that's all the tea I have for today. And I'm going to leave it there for you, for everybody. So go ahead and, drink some tea, I guess. I don't know. I'll see y'all during the next tea spill. And I'll be more prepared next time. Ha gå ni.